What's up, everybody? How's it going, Jen?
It is going fantastic, Fran.
We got a big TV here.
We sure do. We've got the Sony BRAVIA 5, and this is a 98-inch.
It sure is. It's the big boy. We have a BRAVIA 3, a 7, 9, and now we have a 5.
Very odd.
Yes. Very odd indeed. So this, like the 7 and 9, is a mini LED TV, and it's actually an upgrade, or supposed to be an upgrade, from the X90L for those TV buffs out there. So we will see if it lives up to the hype, but I think we need to unbox it and talk more about it.
I think so. Let's go. So Brand, tell me, why does it matter if it's mini LED?
So mini LED, obviously just smaller LEDs, so it's not necessarily hugely important that it's mini LED or not, but provides more space in a TV to then put more dimming zones. And if your TV's processor can handle more dimming zones, it can make it look better. More contrast, brighter highlights. And the BRAVIA 5 is actually supposed to have up to 6 times the dimming zones of that X90L. But we have to figure out what's in the box first, so let's open it up. Jen with the serious face over there.
Very serious.
Yo, there is literally nothing up here, Jen.
Really? I mean, I can't tell, but.
Well, I think something's attached here. Oh
yeah.
A piece of paper. We got it. Wow, how disappointing. We opened it for no reason. Maybe they're being smart, actually. Maybe it's like, no longer do we have to sit there and watch you struggle going up high and with the knife because it's so high.
I'm sure we'll find another way to watch me struggle.
Well, I mean, you know, let's take the box apart and find out where everything is. You got clips on your side?
Yeah, I have clips on this side and then on the front and back.
Clips everywhere. That's good for when you have to repackage it and lift. So let's take them off. That's a lot of clips, man.
That is a lot of clips. Okie dokie. You ready to open her up?
Yeah, let's lift this one over. Let's do it. So if you're gonna keep the box, you might as well just put it back together with the clips and tape, because then you can flip it upside down and put all the stuff inside of it. And it actually, you know, packages well if you have storage area or garage or something. And since we give these TVs back to the company, we might as well keep it in good order, you know? Right, Jen?
Exactly.
I mean, I guess we could have just lifted it over the top without taking these 4 off, but you never know. You know, you win some, you lose some. Hey, Jen, you want to hear the most annoying noise in the world?
No.
It's got to be up there.
Yeah.
I tried to do that quieter because it was pretty loud. All right, now we can flip it upside down. Easy peasy, right? Mm-hmm. Look at that. How amazing are we? Now we can throw this stuff in there. Just flip it upside down and put it all the way to the bottom. I did this on purpose with you in the belly shirt. I'm like, hey, Jen, reach up high. Oh man, you didn't put yours in right. No, that's fine.
It flipped.
Okay, and then we'll put this in there. You just leave it like this. Set it up in there. Beautiful. TV's all wrapped up. Jen, we already need your unwrapping skills. Come on.
Yeah.
Whoa, 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 man. Put the knife away. We got a live product here. Give me. All you need to do is pull this off.
Like that?
Easy, man, easy. My bad. All right, we're gonna have to figure it out. I'm not willing to risk this with a knife. I'm sure there's a reason for the space blanket, but it's like, you know, not the easiest thing to get off the TV.
Just so it doesn't get cold.
Yeah. Maybe that is the thing. Keep the moisture out of the TV or something? I don't know.
Ready.
We have instructions. We need to follow the instructions, Jen. So it looks like we take the 2 ends off, put the feet on, and then lift it up out of the packaging. So we can take the ends off right now. It is a little bit more challenging to remove all this plastic with the TV. It's almost like, let's just get it off now, you know? You wanna do that?
Yeah. You wanna lift
I'll
it
lift
up
up
and
my
I'll
end and then you just take it out. No, that part could have just come off, I guess. Pull that piece out too.
This one?
Yeah. Looks like we're supposed to take these off, but the feet are in the way, so can you?
Yeah. Taped in there.
Taped right in there. One more.
Got it. Okay.
Ooh, my fingers, man. Oh, cut.
There we go.
Jen, we can take this blanket and use it as a thermal blanket up in the hill if we need to.
Yeah,
Keep us warm.
there we go.
Oh my gosh.
Get this out.
Yeah, I mean, that's gonna get us what we need right there. Let's get this one now.
Okay.
There we go. All right. We need the feet. Where are the feet?
They're right back here.
All right, I'm holding the TV.
Okay.
I'm pretty certain that if I don't, it will fall.
Yeah.
Are they the same on both sides?
Let's see.
It says SB. It looks symmetrical. Let's get the other one out and double check. Very solid.
This says SB2. So one's this bright
SB2?
and one's this left.
That's pretty good. Was there just 2 of those bolts?
Yep, there's 2 bolts right
I'm
here.
just gonna set it on there.
Yep.
All right. No, it's cool, man. Just take your time. It's not heavy or anything.
There we go. Actually, that's on my fingers.
Why would you put your finger underneath it?
Because I was trying to figure out how to get it on. Okay.
Wow, this is exciting TV right here.
Gosh.
Come on, man. Where are the screws?
There were no screws.
Was there a goodie
I didn't see
bag?
a goodie bag.
Dude, the goodie bag's in the middle. We haven't even gotten the goodie bag yet? Come on, man. What are we doing? We are the worst unboxers in the world.
It's my first day.
Is there really a goodie bag in there, Jen?
There is. There we go.
This is not our first day unboxing TVs. It feels like it.
I've never done this before.
But that's what Sony gets for putting all the stuff on the bottom. Normally it's on top and it's easy for us. We forgot that the remote and the power cord, the screws and all that were under here, and we're trying to figure out where the screws are. We found them.
In my head, I already did it. Oh, yoy. Oof. Okay, let's go.
Those are all sounds of the 80s.
Ouch, my back. Okay, so Eric so lovingly pointed out that we have these little face plates right here to go over the back of
I don't know if
The
I'd call
legs.
those face plates as much as I'd call them feet plates.
foot plates.
Snap it in, man. Let's go. Beautiful, beautiful. Oh, I got to lift this side up, don't I?
Come on,
Here.
quit slacking.
Excuse me.
What are you doing?
That was the most convenient way to go. Ready? Okay. Try to do it within 10 seconds. Oh, yeah. Looking good? Move your fingers. All right.
Okay. There we go. All set.
Okay. So it's got a handle. I don't know if the handle's going to help.
It's a deep squat.
Deep squat time.
Okay.
You want to do it? You good?
Yeah.
Tell me when you're ready.
1, 2, 3.
There we go. I'll get this. All right, we're gonna be able to lift this up. This is clearly the hardest part. You're a champ, Jen. I don't know how many wives would do this for their husbands. Lift 100-inch TVs
Not
every
many.
day.
Not many. Don't forget what you got. Don't get greedy.
You ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, up a little higher, up higher. All right, you gotta go a lot further on. There you go.
Yep.
All right. Clearly that's easier for me.
You
Little-
have more leverage.
little height advantage. Let's lift it up and slide it your way a little bit. Could you?
Okay.
Ready? There we go. Jen, it is time for you to work and for me to sit down.
Okay. Making my money today.
All right, you sure are. Oh, come on, man. You forgot one.
Did I? Oh, that.
Okay, so here's the TV. What are
Wait,
your
what?
What are your in-depth thoughts?
I think it is a big black box.
Yes, it is a nice looking TV. Now, it doesn't have as aggressive of an anti-reflection layer as some of the other TVs do. I can see the reflections. I can see Eric's light. It looks up fairly bright. So let's move on. Now, this is also not the thinnest TV I've ever seen before. So for mini LED, it doesn't always mean super, super thin TV. I don't think there's a correlation with how thin it is and how good it looks though. What we want is it to look good, right?
Yeah.
It does have the XR processor, a lot more dimming zones, so you expect it's going to be pretty good contrast, brightness, all that stuff. And then we have the 600 by 400 millimeter VISA pattern on the back, which is pretty standard. And a lot of 98-inch TVs do not have standard patterns. Some of them are like all over the place. So make sure it'll work on your mount. But also remember, it has to support like 100 plus pounds. This is a pretty heavy TV. And if you put it on a typical 600 by 400 millimeter VISA pattern mount, it may just bend it down to the ground.
You don't want that.
Not good for anybody.
Good.
I do like the handles. Makes it much easier to pick up. You can take the handles off too if you don't want them, so they don't have to remain, but they remain. And then pretty big feet. You know what they say about big feet, Jen?
Big remote?
Yeah, exactly. Big feet, big remote. Well, we'll see about that.
Got our 4 HDMIs right here. Number 3 has the ER. And 3 and 4 are also the 4K 120, so those are great for gaming. And then back up at the top, we have 2 USBs. We've got our digital audio out, our optical, and then the S-Center speaker in. And then down here, we've got the LAN and the remote, and then the cable antenna and the IR in.
And then we got some speakers on the side here. I think there might be some downward facing speakers as well. Some on the side here, that comes into play when you connect this to the sound bar. It'll sound cool as a whole system, but the sound should be sufficient on its own. We'll test that out in a little bit. And it does say that this TV is compatible with the BRAVIA cam, but there isn't any place up here to put it. Maybe it's just for the smaller sizes. I'd be interested to know if anyone else knows that, and potentially what these are. I mean, they move a little bit. Is it like you pull it out and there's like a grill right there to cook your food or something? What do you think?
It's definitely a grill, I'm sure.
I've seen that in like an EV. They have like a grill you pull out. Maybe they have it on this TV, you know?
Yeah, in the comments, let us know if you know what this is.
I like the shirt, Jen.
Thank you.
I didn't mention it earlier, but it's pretty awesome.
It's Rainbow Bright.
Definitely dates them or you or both. Moving on. Okay, Jen, let's go get that big bad remote.
So it's a good size remote, not too big, not too small. It's got all the right buttons. We've got our power up here, our directional pad, and of course our volume and channel, and all of our beautiful, fun little buttons.
I do like how it has the setup button there and the menu. A lot of the buttons are well placed, so it's very easy to know this remote.
Well, let's turn on the TV and see what it looks like.
Okay, so we got the TV set up and it's in the same spot it was, but it hasn't been there for the last couple weeks. We did have to move it over to the other stand, and we got like the home theater system 6 in here, which was pretty good for the price, and set it all up together. It's a great combination. Did a video on that actually for Amazon Prime deals. So a lot has been going on over the last couple of weeks, but now we have the BRAVIA 5 98-inch back on the stand where it originally was when we started the video, and we have all kinds of great things to talk about because I like this TV. I've seen mixed reviews about this with regards to its quality and maybe if it is in fact the successor for the X90L, which was a great TV in its own right. But let's talk more about this BRAVIA 5, starting with the Eco dashboard. So when you get a Sony TV, it starts off looking pretty dim, but there's a bunch of different settings that you can go into in order to figure out if it's as bright as it should be. And one of them is just whether or not the power saving is on or not. That does show up when you set the TV up, but even if you turn this off, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's at full brightness. And then there is also the Eco dashboard, and when you go into the Eco dashboard, I found out that the auto adjustment for the ambient light was on, and it was like saving a bunch of power, but we don't care about that when we're reviewing TVs. We need to use all the power to make sure we can see how bright this TV can get, so it just kept going up and up and up, and finally, after readjusting the exposure for the camera, we're at full brightness, and now I can feel confident that I'm going to give you guys the right info. So going back to the home screen of the Google TV operating system, it's much brighter for me, probably still looks the same for you guys. And then lastly, if you go through the actual picture menu too, make sure that peak brightness is on high, you know, if that's what you want to have. If you want to have the brightness, you got to make sure all these settings are up, because when these TVs are compared and they do tests and all this, different modes, sometimes they're not all set exactly the way you would set them at home, and that may change opinions on how good a TV is. But enough of the settings. I've told you before, I love Google TV operating system. It's just so easy to use. You got free channels if you're into that, all kinds of apps. We use YouTube TV, YouTube, some of the other ones, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, Netflix. A lot of the stuff that we watch shows up down here as like, you know, continue from another area. We watch this on different TVs. Watch the Ace Ventura movie, watch the Minecraft movie. You could just continue them here. It's pretty awesome to have that. Not all the operating systems do have this, and not all of them feed you information or things to watch. Some people don't like getting all the recommendations, but if you have something like an Apple TV, TV, it literally gives you nothing. So then you have to find all the stuff yourself, but a little bit of everything. Here you go. Help Caleb. Go Caleb Dennison. But yeah, I love the Google operating system. I love the backgrounds that they have when the TV goes idle. So another benefit, as our TVs are often idle in between takes. And getting right into YouTube TV so we can check out some regular TV content. TV looks really bright. It got much brighter than the home screen. A lot of that was just darker content. And this is bright and vibrant. Sports. Upscaling looks fantastic. This does have the XR processor that the BRAVIA 7, the BRAVIA 9 have. So all of the great TVs from Sony have this XR processor, which is known for its amazing upscaling and processing, color clarity, the ability to use AI in real time to correct the scene. So I really like the Sony processing. I think that's a pretty known feature. Everything looks pretty good with regards to motion. I don't notice any artifacting or really any glitches when watching fast-paced sports. And besides that, it's very bright. It has great contrast. This is a mini LED. It has like 6 times the dimming zones the X90L had, which was kind of the predecessor before this. Not a 1-for-1, but this is a mini LED versus that just being a full array local dimming. So this should be better. It looks better to me. I did notice that that's a good TV, but it wasn't super, super bright. This looks fantastic in all ways so far. Okay, so now on to HDR Movies, which if anything I've heard about this TV is that possibly the HDR is not as impactful as you might want it to be on a mini LED at this price point. But I want to talk about this in 2 different ways. One, I want to talk about brightness and contrast and everything and motion. And then the other one I want to talk about is specular highlights. So first, when talking about the brightness, it's better than expected, to be honest. This is up there with some of these mini LEDs like the TCL 7, 8 series. To me, it looks like it's definitely brighter than the X90L that was the predecessor like I spoke about before. I mean, it has some pretty bright highlights. It's pretty bright full screen in HDR as well. And yet the contrast is really good too. I'll have to check out like the blooming test to see how it handles blooming. I don't really see anything on screen so far. So I think HDR impact really good. When talking about the motion, I did see a little bit of a glitch in one scene where there was a little bit of a double frame and I wanted to check the actual settings, went in there, the motion flow, we're at 1 and 1. So actually I just wanted to turn them off and just see how it looks without any motion interpolation. And to be honest, I think it looks fantastic because some TVs, when you turn motion interpolation off, they look terrible. But there's a specific scene we watch in this Luca movie where they're flying through the air and it didn't look bad to me. I don't really like soap opera effect anyways, and I'm getting used to having less motion interpolation in general. And so this Sony can be used without it, can be used with it. Again, upscaling, all that's great. And brightness is great here too. But I do want to check out the specular highlights. There's a scene we watch in Avatar 2 that has really good specular highlights underwater, and I'm watching it on this BRAVIA 5 and it looks really good. I feel like there's really good impact there. You can definitely feel the brightness in a darker environment. So in my opinion, the BRAVIA 5 really good for HDR impact, watching movies here, but we need to get to gaming and also test the TV. So let's do that now. So let's just get the tests out of the way first. We'll talk about the dirty screen effect test, which is where you can find some uniformity issues on the screen. If you have a bright background and you have a guy going back and forth like this, it's a little bit more easy to pick up. And we noticed that there's a little bit of dirty screen effect in the middle of the TV. Around the edges, it's not too bad. Overall, it's pretty good. Sony is traditionally pretty good at having clean screens. They go through a process where they calibrate each one at the factory. It doesn't make it perfect every time, but it's still good in general over other TVs. A little bit of a streak here, but not too bad, so we'll move on. Now, another test we do is the blooming test, which is very relevant for LED and mini LED TVs. And this TV is pretty good. There is a little bit of blooming in the corners. On the bottom right, I can see some almost from straight on, which isn't a great sign normally. Now, if you don't see it in content, that's okay. If it's just in the test, the content looked good that we were watching, so not necessarily seeing it there. But I do want to point out off angle, you can see a little bit more blooming. So if you have a really wide room, if people are going to be sitting all around the room, they might get a little bit different viewing experience from the sides that you do from straight on and so forth. But overall, it's pretty impressive. It's definitely better than the X90L, that's for sure. With 6 times the dimming zones and a great processor, you'd expect that. So pretty impressive, but still there's a little bit of blooming. And lastly, we have the reflection test. Now, I did mention there's a little bit of reflection issue when we were pointing the TV straight on in the living room, but here you can see with the lights really bright and we have a light in the background, There is some reflections, of course. I can see myself in the reflection. I have a white shirt on, so that probably helps. And we have the TV on, so this would be like worst case scenario here, right? And then I can also turn the TV off and give you guys like the full experience of what it looks like if the TV's off, which is not super helpful, but you know, hopefully it helps you a little bit. You can see a little bit of rainbow effect coming off the light, but it's not nearly as aggressive as the BRAVIA 9, for example, which has much better anti-reflective capabilities, but also gives off that really aggressive rainbow effect on the TV. So again, you want a bright TV and you want good reflection handling. And this is pretty bright and has decent reflection handling. So it's gonna be okay for a bright room, but it'd be best suited for a room that doesn't have a ton of ambient light. And last but not least, before the buying advice, we're talking about gaming. This has two HDMI 2.1 ports that do 4K at 120. So that's great. You know, great for gamers, great for PS5. One of them is the eARC port. So that takes away one if you got a sound bar. That's unfortunate, but I think 4K 60 gaming is totally fine. And in fact, we turned this on, we're like, whoa, that's so bright. It was really bright initially, awesome to watch. And then we turned on VRR, which is one of those features that you would want to use if you're gaming at 4K 120, and the picture got a lot darker. But you know, I don't know the ins and outs of all the different gaming features. We did go into the gaming menu, which is pretty cool, and increase the black equalizer from off to low, which does help. But yeah, turning that VRR on did really reduce the brightness on the TV screen. And that's the first time that I've been like, wah, wah, with regards to brightness. So I would just turn it off. To be honest, I don't really care that much. I'm not like an avid gamer that needs the fastest refresh rate and VRR and all that stuff. I'll deal with a little frame tearing if I have to. But overall, I think it's fine for gaming. Obviously, I think everybody that's a gamer would like to have all four ports do 4K at 120, maybe have a screen that's 144 or 165 hertz, but that's not this. And if you want one of those TVs, get the BRAVIA 8 Mark II or something like that. But hey, let's move on to the buying advice, because that I think is what's most important about these TV reviews. So where does the BRAVIA 5 stand? Well, numerically speaking, it is the lowest mini LED, right? We have the BRAVIA 5, the BRAVIA 7, and BRAVIA 9. And there's also the BRAVIA 8 Mark II QD OLED, which I like as well. But if you look at all these different TVs by their price point, the least expensive is the X90L we've been talking about, which is now a couple years old, but it's really only like 900 bucks for a 65 inch. So that's a really good price. But then the BRAVIA 5 is only $12.99, which is still a really good price for the quality that you get. It would be challenging to pick between those TVs, but I would probably take the newer one. And then the BRAVIA 7 is $14.99. The BRAVIA 9 is $1,000 more at $24.99, which is like double the price of this BRAVIA 5. So I think that with the feature set that the BRAVIA 5 has, it's gonna be a very popular TV the rest of the year. You're not missing much from the BRAVIA 7 besides a little bit more brightness, and the same for the 9. While you're still getting 4K at 120, you're still getting mini LED, you're still getting the XR processor and all the positives of Sony TVs like upscaling and motion interpolation and all that stuff. And then most expensively is the BRAVIA 8 Mark II, which is like $3,000 or more. So if you're going that route, completely different TV, QD OLED, really awesome, but that's a whole different ballgame. And if you want to go 98 inch, it's really just the BRAVIA 5 or the X90L, which is like $500 less. So for $5,000 at the time of recording this video, the BRAVIA 5 is a pretty good deal. I imagine it's probably going to get a little bit better as the year goes on. So if you're getting a 98 inch TV once in the next 10 years, I would just opt for the 2025 version, which is this BRAVIA 5, and not get the X90L, which is 2 years old. Now you do also have a couple of different options from different brands. I know TCL makes a pretty good mini LED TV in this size, definitely less expensive, in between $2,000, $3,000 range, but typically TCL doesn't have the exact same level of processing. I did see the motion interpolation does glitch out a little bit more when you have it on, and it doesn't tone map as good as Sony TVs do, which is something I probably should have mentioned a little bit more in this review. Tone mapping is great on Sony TVs, but you know, that's a decision that you guys will have to make, whether or not you're going to go for a TCL or you just go for this Sony BRAVIA 5. But I'm interested to hear you guys' comments. What do you guys think about this BRAVIA 5, specifically the 98 inch and other sizes? Let me know in the comments and ask away if you have any questions as well. And I did want to mention we have a brand new quiz up on our website. It's called techquiz.ai, where you can go to find your perfect TV. It'll ask you a bunch of questions that are relevant to picking a TV and then give you guys the results for your condition, your environment, what you'll be watching, and all that. So make sure to check that out because it's a really good resource that we created. And make sure to smash the like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys in the next video.